The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Shifting gears over to Dr. Jerome Corsi, who doesn't really need any introduction here. He writes for WorldNet Daily. He's had a bunch of New York Times bestsellers, including #1 bestsellers. And he's a PhD from Harvard University in political science. So he's an expert on the economy as well. I want to spend a few minutes with him on that. But he has been hot on the trail of Barry Soetoro and the other aliases of Obama. And now he has done an interview with the postman, who for years delivered a mail to the Ayers family, who said that they were putting a, quote, foreign student Obama through school. And we've got all these other people saying at Occidental and other places he was introduced as Barry. We were conspiracy theorists 3 years ago. Now they admit, oh, he is Barry Soetoro. Obama calls into talk shows now and calls himself Barry. So first it didn't exist, and then, oh, actually, that was my name. But let's not discuss it. So all of that's going on. This is a big development, and Paul Watson has an article on it. Obama chides birthers while media spikes Ayers bombshell. Postman says Ayers parents put foreign student Obama through school. That's the InfoWars article with the latest developments. Obviously, at WorldNet Daily, they've got all of the facts there in the interview with the gentleman. But this is just something you add to the pile. Dr. Corsi, thanks for coming on to tell us what's happening.
Alex, always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Wow, tell us about the new development.
Well, this postman, whose name is Alan Hulton, Hulton, he lives up in Illinois, outside of Chicago. He delivered mail for 39 years, and his route included Glen Ellen, suburb of Chicago, where Mary and Tom Ayers, the parents of Weather Underground bomber Bill Ayers, lived. And in the course of delivering mail, this occurred in the late 80s, early 90s. I think it really occurred probably in the summer of 1989 as I pieced together the events. Alan Hulton had been told earlier by Mary Ayers that the family, Bill, she and her husband, Tom Ayers, were supporting this foreign student, helping him get through his schooling. And she was bragging about how great this was, this foreign student, black foreign student. And then around the summer of '89, the postman just delivered the mail to the Ayers home. He's walking in the driveway, coming out onto the sidewalk, and sees this black young kid approaching him. And the kid comes up to him and says he is going to the Ayers home to thank them for helping him with his education. And immediately the postman connects the two together and says, oh, this is the foreign student. And he remembers what he looks like. So now we fast forward. Obama's running for president. The postman hears his voice on the television, looks, and says, this is the guy I met in front of the Ayers home. This is the foreign student that Mary and Tom Ayers were paying for to go to school.
And he did have this route. The guy's a credible witness, but people are saying, how does he remember this? Well, you can say what you want about Obama or Barry Soetoro. He is a striking personality. His voice, the way he looks. I mean, he is somebody who is unusual.
Yeah, and see, Alex, I taped the postman, Alex Hulton, for almost 4 hours, like 3 and some hours and a half. I was with him almost the entire day. I made him go through the story 3 different times. Also, this was a lead that was developed by Sheriff Arpaio. There was an affidavit. I was working from an affidavit that Hulton, the postman, had given to Sheriff Arpaio, and I was out there validating the lead, making sure we videotaped the postman to get his story in his own words. And I can tell you, this is a guy who had every appearance of telling the truth. And he said he remembered Obama because the big ears, the light complexion, the way he was dressed. He described his clothes, polo shirt, a dress shirt with an open collar, no tie, nice slacks. And that's exactly when you see Obama in the Harvard pictures, for instance, the Breitbart just released, that's exactly how Obama was dressed. And the physical descriptions of Obama, meeting him even once, sets an impact on your mind because he does look so distinctive. So I'm convinced that this is an accurate recollection. And the postman had told the story to a liberal blogger and attorney in 2009, and it was reported but paid very little attention to. But when we got the story through the Sheriff Arpaio's investigation, and it connected the dots, foreign student knew the Ayers family earlier than said. This is before Obama was in fact, we've demonstrated before Obama was in Harvard, he was working in 1988 with the Ayers family in a Chicago school project. Now, 1989, Mary Ayers is bragging about funding this foreign black student. Obama fits the bill. He walks up the driveway and says, I'm the student here to thank the Ayers family. We put it all together. We got the weather ground, underground bombers family paying, very likely, for Obama's Harvard education as a foreign student. And Obama's telling the postman, another reason I think the postman remembered it, Obama's saying in 1989, I'm going to be president of the United States.
Wow. Well, absolutely. His mom's CIA. He's got the whole background, if she's even his mom. I mean, the thing is just, we don't know if any of this is true. It's so bizarre. But on top of it, watching Sheriff Arpaio's press conference, watching his top forensics specialists and outsiders they brought in, the body language is, plus I've already done the same research they've now done, so I know it's true, is they're totally freaked out. They're trying to act calm. Watching those investigators, they look scared. And either that or they're Academy Award-winning actors. Those investigators realize, and now you've talked about the fact they've beefed up their security, this is not a joke. As soon as Sheriff Arpaio, for those that forget, started this investigation, the feds raided them. So you wouldn't do that if you weren't scared of the investigation. It's like a cop drives by at night and you see him and you run into the alley. Well, that's probable cause right there. The person's acting suspicious. The fact is they're acting totally scared. We learned President Bush, to recap, that you've exposed, wanted to know about Obama. So had a diplomatic cable saying, go look at the records. Was he born there? And they said, yeah, it's been cut out. It's been removed criminally. Well, they wouldn't cut something out if he wasn't born there. And again, Barry Soetoro, all of it. What is the latest on Sheriff Arpaio's investigation? Because obviously you can say what you want about Arpaio, and you're helping him investigate there. This is a dangerous procedure you guys are involved in.
Well, and also, I mean, one more detail on the postman story. He said the foreign student was from Indonesia. That was his distinct reputation. Indonesia. So he was tying it to the, the Indonesian student, foreign student. That ties together for Obama. And the stories that Obama was even an Occidental as a foreign exchange student from Indonesia. And traveling to Pakistan, most likely going to Indonesia, very likely picking up an Indonesian passport. This would have been, before he was in, just at the end of his second year probably at Occidental, something like 1980. And by the way, we don't have all the timelines for Obama are imprecise. You don't
because they're all of it's sealed. Again, they're fighting to keep all that secret.
And then I want to affirm for you the Sheriff Arpaio's investigation has even told me to be more concerned about my security. I'm now getting more threats. It's happening again. And, it's very dangerous investigating what we're investigating. But I think the postman story, which to me is very important because it's not hearsay. This is a postman saying, Mary Ayers told me, the postman says, that Obama was this foreign student. And then he met Obama, and Obama personally said he was going to be president and that he was thanking the Ayers family for helping with his education. This is firsthand testimony, sworn to an affidavit. You can see the postman in the interview I did. He doesn't look slick. I basically lost night's sleep to get there, videoed him myself. You can see the whole thing is not slick. It's honest in the video. And this is the beginning, again, of another series of revelations that Sheriff Arpaio and the posse are going to be bringing forth. I'm going to be writing a story just today. I just got the letter today. Sheriff Arpaio is now starting to write out letters. He's demanding information from the Selective Service on the probable cause that the investigators have to say that the Selective Service draft card of
That's
Obama.
right. I mean, an official investigation by a county sheriff, because these crimes are being committed there through election fraud in that county, he can get stuff that's been sealed from the public.
That's right. He has investigative powers that are greater. As you know, the ability, next letters I'm sure they're going to be written are going to include to Hawaii. Hawaii is going to have to now stonewall a criminal investigation demanding to see the original materials in the vault. I was not reported extensively, but even at the press conference, you know, the people say, "Oh, well, they didn't contact anybody from the Sheriff Arpaio's office in Hawaii." That is not true. Sheriff Arpaio's office contacted the Honolulu Police Department. The Honolulu Police Department said, "Don't bother contacting the Hawaii Department of Health. They'll stonewall you unless you have a court order, and even then they might not comply." So there's going to be more formal requests made to several government agencies to get these records pried loose. I mean, why can't we see the Occidental records from college of Obama?
Yeah, I'm going to say something right here. People better be praying for you, Dr. Corsi, because I warned the D.C. madam. I've warned others that have dropped dead. And I'm not trying to spook you here. You obviously know what you're doing. You've worked in the State Department and counterterrorism and, you know, been under military attack before. So I'm not going to, you know, go off into all that. But obviously, I want listeners to understand they responded with a White House press conference 1 week before your book came out and announced through their sources that your book had been withdrawn as a fraud. They're acting like they are scared to death of you, and now you're so close to getting them. Man, you better, obviously they're hiding something. Obviously he's got all these other names. The whole truth, who knows what it is, but the reason this is an issue is it's illegal, it's unconstitutional, and imagine what foreign powers and corporate interests are able to do when they've got all this information. He's blackmailed.
Well, and additionally, I think you're totally right, Alex, exactly. But also, we're getting more information daily and developing more information daily. Got some blockbuster stories that are developing out of Sheriff Arpaio's investigation. I mean, people got to remember, this is a criminal investigation. That press conference charged that crimes had been committed in Obama's identity documents, which means that there's a fundamental criminal lie at the heart of who Obama is.
And he's got a Connecticut Social Security number. It just goes on and on.
And it also means, Alex, that we're going to be finding and looking for the perpetrators of these frauds. We're going to be identifying potential criminals that could be brought to trial. And the information that's coming forward, you know, implicates, again, the Department of Justice. It implicates people within the government and administration. This has been a massive attempt to cover up who Obama is and to lie about his past.
The Attorney General wouldn't do that when he got caught lying about guns shipped to Mexico to blame the Second Amendment, or giving $500 million to a company to build, you know, stuff they never built in energy scams. These are good people.
Right. And allowing the prime suspect in Fast and Furious to go loose with a handwritten note and a $10 bill of the phone they could call in if they wanted to talk to the FBI further. I mean, it's ridiculous. And what you've got going on here is, I think, probably the greatest cover-up and lie and deception in American history over who Obama is.
Why did the elite do it? I want to ask you now, why would they gamble like this? Because it makes him compromised? Why?
A couple things. First of all, I think Obama was their chosen boy from the beginning. Communist raised, you know, the diversity of being, you know, not being just a white, having a combination of being, you know, African and white or whatever. But at any rate, the diversity element was there. Then raised Frank Marshall Davis. Now it looks like the Ayers. We're developing information. The relationship with the Ayers may go back to the, you know, early 1980s. And lied about it. Remember, Barack Obama said Ayers was just some guy in his neighborhood. Their kids went to school. All a lie. Everything about Obama is being a lie. We're developing more information about the Obots, these guys who have bragged about forging Obama birth documents. This is a very deep and serious investigation. And tomorrow we'll be releasing, I hope to get it written today, release the letter that Sheriff Arpaio has now formally written to the head of Selective Service. There's a crime been committed there, and the investigators in Sheriff Arpaio's office are specifying the crime. They're looking at suspects. There are people of interest in the investigation, and it's not going away.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.